online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Grimmsters! Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV's Grimm After Show. Here, we're at the AfterBuzz Studios. Guys, I'm your host, Zach Wilson. We're talking about episode 420. I didn't even know. I just noticed that. I just added up. You don't know Jack. Wasn't that like a failed NBC sitcom? Like,
yes, and also an old PC game.
Anyway, but we're not here to talk about old NBC shows. We're here to talk about Grimm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure that if you haven't done so already, you go on to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, where you can watch this and all of the shows here at AfterBuzz, whether it's live, after the fact, or you're like binge watching like 8 of our after shows at once. I don't know why you're watching them without stopping to watch the episodes. I'm not one to judge. But make sure you do that.
Maybe
you
they
also
binge watch the shows, then binge watch the after show.
Feels counterproductive.
Well,
I feel like you should go 1 and 1. Anyway, you can also find us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Be sure to rate and comment and tell all your friends. As I said, I'm Zach Wilson. You tweet at me during the broadcast and during the week at that Zach Wilson, ThatZachWilson. But also, my fantastic panel is here, or at least the ones that are here. Tauri Miller.
Hey guys, I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Tauri J. It's TauriJay.
And
Dillon
hey guys,
Chance.
I'm Dillon Chance, and you can find me on Twitter at Dillon Chance.
Unfortunately, Yell Teagle couldn't be with us tonight. She's feeling a little under the weather, but she is joining us in the chat roll, so I'm sure she'll be making snark throughout, and we'll update you as we go. I think this, because we have Tauri and Dillon here now,
yes.
My new theory is that Tauri is just like a life model decoy, and he can be operated by any panelist who's not here. So this week, my theory is that Tauri is actually Yell.
So you're going to have to be overly sexual today.
If you insist.
All right, let's dive into this episode. Well, first reactions, guys. What did you think about You Don't Know Jack? Do you know Jack?
I do. It's delicious. Also, when added to peppers, pepper jack is really good.
Ooh, I like that.
But also, this episode was really fun. I thought it was a good progression. And, oh, man, I love everything that they're doing with Adalind. Before, I was not a big Adalind person. Like, she was like a love-to-hate kind of character. But now I'm like, I sympathize with you, which is a weird turn.
Yeah, I mean, I've slowly... Adalind's been a weird roller coaster of are we on her side or not? Like, ever since she got pregnant the first time, she's been a more sympathetic character. I think because the idea of protecting one's own is something we can all relate to.
Right.
So even her most extreme measures, you can understand from the perspective of she's trying to protect her child.
Right.
That being said, in this episode, I'm kind of like, Adalind, or I guess just recently, get your stuff together.
I think it's slowly turning into a show where instead of it being about Nick, the Grimm, it'll be about Adalind, the former witch who has turned warm, loving mother, taking care of her children. With the help of Uncle Nick and Father Nick.
It's a little sitcom. It's all in the Grimm.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Adalind in the city.
Ooh, maybe that'll be the spinoff. It's just about Adalind raising her children.
I'm trying to think of a good Adalind pun, but there's really not. No. So it's a strange name. It's not as easy as Trouble.
No.
But lend me a hand. Yeah.
So in this episode, Adalind is now under Nick's protective custody. but Nick and the whole Scooby gang has been dealt a massive blow. As we left last episode, the trailer burned down.
Mm-hmm.
What did I wasn't here last week, so I didn't get your take on that. Were you like horrified, or were you just annoyed, or?
Well, now it's become clear that nobody has performed a digital backup of all of those books.
Yes.
And I am frustrated with the team. Especially Wu, because I feel like Wu's the one of them who like started to think ahead with this kind of stuff.
Right.
But also like, look, I'm a little bit frustrated that something so simple was overlooked. Mm-hmm. The thing is, burning the trailer is a great story piece because it's been a home base for so many seasons that burning it to the ground is a great transitionary thing, especially towards the end of a season. It's very volatile. It has the potential to wreck the character's life and their normal process. But they didn't go 100%.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that frustrates me. The first episode after the trailer burns down, the first one, the first task, they just happen to have the exact book that they need. And it was not burned in a way that made this difficult at all.
Lucky.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's too lucky.
Right.
Yeah.
It's too convenient. If you're gonna burn it all to the ground, then they should not be able to research this. They should just have to think on their feet.
Yeah.
So that was my main frustration with this episode, because if you're gonna burn everything down, some weapons survive. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But the books are not. That was a big fire.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the forest didn't burn down, let alone the books that were inside.
Mm-hmm. Though I did like all the reminiscing that took place in the trailer when they were kind of going through everything.
That was nice.
Because you do realize that it's
the Wu flashback was a little silly. Was that like a week ago?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, you guys remember that
the
time?
good old time.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I will remember you.
See the sad Vesson drawings.
As they burn up.
Yale said it was a cop-out, too, the book.
Yeah. It's... They could have gone the whole 9 yards, and they didn't.
Right.
I like that the ogre gun survived, although, frankly, they had it survive, then my prediction, halfway through this episode, I'm like, oh, it's like the straight up Chekhov gun. They introduced the ogre gun, you're gonna fill it with the liquid from the Hexen Beast potion, and you're just gonna shoot Juliet.
That'd be awesome.
You're gonna trank Juliet with anti-Hexen Beast liquid.
I don't know why they thought they could get her to drink it. I was like, all right, how are they going to drug her and pump this into her veins?
I think they're still thinking of her as old Juliet. They're still thinking that inside, deep down, she's just a scared puppy, but she's not. At this point, she's a panther. She's a panther right now. She is on the attack, but they don't realize that, and I think that's why their plan failed utterly.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was hoping they would take that water gun out of the thing, even though it burnt down. Maybe someone still had one and just spray it in their mouth. Hold her down and spray it in her mouth.
My favorite Grimm weapon to be added to the weapons closet, the Grimm water gun. Grimm Super Soaker. Yell is saying in the chat, why did the fire stop burning? As a fair question, then James Ferran, listener, said fire requires three things: ignition, fuel, and oxygen. And yes, the trailer, being a metal container, would contain the fire pretty much.
Right.
Well,
We
and
saw it spill out the windows and things.
It always rains there.
Yeah, I mean, it's Portland. It's a damp area.
Yeah.
So I get why the fire eventually went out, but within that trailer, I would think that everything that was burnable would have been consumed. So the weapons survived. Some of them were inside a closet. The ogre gun was inside a case, inside a closet.
Right.
A lot of those things were swords made of metal, so they're not gonna burn. If anything, you just have to get new grip tape on the handle. But and the axe is gonna need a new handle. But you gotta rehandle those things every couple of years anyway.
That's true. But I mean, it's not going to be the same. Some of those were Hitori Hanzo swords. So I mean, you can't. It's one of a kind.
Yeah. Tauri Hanzo is perfectly fine in a light fire like that. Yes, Yell, I know that you know how fire works. But we were but like how the fire can get out of there is an issue. And like when fire doesn't magically burn up some books without explanation, like you could even have explained away a couple books surviving with a spell or like enchanted stuff. Like it's that kind of
They're
show.
made out. The casing is enchanted leather.
Yeah, I'd buy that. I'd buy it in a heartbeat. But if you're gonna burn it, burn it.
Right.
Anyway, so let's get like enough ranting about the fire. Let's spread this discussion and ignite a debate over how you guys feel about Adalind and the potion. The potion made from dead mom.
I thought that was a pretty funny scene, cutting up dead mom.
Oh yeah.
I was actually like, oh, that's kind of nasty.
Gruesome, yeah. I also thought the scene where she's talking to her mom's grave, I thought it was really not funny. It was touching in a way, but also it was like, hey guys, in case you forgot any of these
it was
things,
another one of those, here's the writers explaining everything moments. Recap.
Enjoy your exposition.
Yeah. I liked the funeral scene. It was a nice, like, Adalind got a little, like, Adalind got the jokey moments out. But then we had that, my favorite part was Bernard, where Rosalie turns to her, you knew her? Oh, yeah. He knew her. He knew her intimately. Ooh. Oh, my. Yes, exactly. Like, the scenario for, like, Renard being there is just ridiculous on all fronts.
Oh, Lydia Cerberus. Is that how you say her name? She said, at least it wasn't cookies made from the dead mom. That actually would be pretty funny.
I mean, Adalind does have a history of sneaking.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how they could have gotten
They could have given her cookies.
It is episode 420.
Yeah.
You guys.
See?
For a show that has had a hallucination trip after eating a brownie and a transformation after, how do I say this? Inhaling some smoke from a hat.
Right.
Oh, she definitely hit a bong.
Yeah. You'd almost expect them to have some paraphernalia references.
Yeah.
In episode 420. So as we chop up Mom and distill her ribs, tongue, and gallbladder and liver. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Into a water-looking substance through that whole process.
Yeah.
They're doing science, I guess. And Adalind goes to stay with Bud.
Best pairing ever.
That's the sitcom. I wish we'd gotten more time of, like, I want to see just the two of them, like, at night. When, like, Nick and Hank have to go off and deal with other stuff. And Adalind just needed a place to stay, so she's in there sleeping, and like, she gets up to get a glass of water, and Bud's just, like, in the kitchen in his underwear, like, oh, I forgot you were here. What?
Did you need anything? Do you need stuff? I can give you things. I can give it to you. Wait, I don't mean it that way. Yeah.
Also, have they not learned that Bud is the worst person to bring a secret thing to?
Pretty much. But, I mean, if they're going to have their spin-off, My Bud Adalind, they're going to need him to be a part of it.
My Bud Adalind.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
I like that we got Bud back for a little bit. He's still running around. Been there, done that, as Bud would put it. But so it's a nice little thing. I hope that we get a little bit more out of it because it's fun.
I did love that moment when they're explaining how she's pregnant, and he's like, "But you and Juliet, and then you and how, and then when, why?"
Yeah.
It was really cute.
Oh, question.
Yes.
I was wondering when I was watching when Adalind drinks the potion, and she gets rid of her hexen beastness. Did that take away whatever power that may have been for the baby, too?
I don't think so. Okay, so let's talk about the potion, because they make the potion, they test it on Adalind. Mm-hmm. It's a suppressant, right?
Yes.
It's like a hormone suppressant.
Okay.
Is probably the best real life equivalent. A suppressant doesn't necessarily stop all production of that hormone. There's still a little bit in there.
Right.
So she is still a hexen beast, especially down to her DNA. So if we assume that Vessen is tied to your DNA, she's still going to pass on hexen beast traits to her kid.
Fair enough.
Okay.
The question is, how long does a suppressant like that work?
Right. Because what if the suppressant goes into the baby too and suppresses the baby's DNA? Maybe it has the DNA, but does it become suppressed as well?
Well,
I mean,
Because they share the same.
Well, but there's the what is it? It's like the blood barrier when you're pregnant. It's a something blood barrier.
Well, no, but like
something
she drank it, so yes, some of it theoretically would go to the baby, but the baby doesn't need to be a hexen beast to survive.
Right.
So like,
I just don't think you should try weird things like that when you're pregnant.
yeah, that's it. Maybe go call up Henrietta and be like, hey, can we try? I brought you some vodka. Or each.
Ooh, somebody says, it was Mr. Goku Jr. Maybe it gave the baby the power to take away Hexen Beast powers.
Ooh, that is, I mean, he does have the blood of a Grimm in him.
Now
so
he walks up to Hexen Beast and he just touches them. And,
like in the forehead.
Yeah,
like Avatar.
It's all exploding. My head hurts.
But I will say, when she does get her powers removed and that like smoke comes out, you see two entities form, and then they combine into one, which is, at first glance, you might think, oh, that's maybe her and the baby, and that is affecting their powers. Or you could also kind of attribute it to this duality that we have been talking about the last few weeks of Hexen Beast, in that like they are two separate beings. Ooh. Like you could equate it to being like having dissociative disorder, where like they have their human side and they have their other Hexen Beast personality, and this potion is like an antipsychotic that kind of tempers that.
Okay.
I like that.
I think you're right. It fits totally with the themes that the writers have been putting in for the last few weeks.
I also like the idea that it was her and the baby. Then they combined into one, and they went back into the baby. So the baby's like a super Hexen Beast.
It's already going to be some crazy powerful thing, right?
Because you know what? Last time she was doing all this weird stuff. She's always doing weird stuff when she's pregnant, and it makes these crazy babies. I just feel like something's going to go down with this baby.
I want to see. First, I want to see Diana and this baby magically transported to another dimension, i.e., like Angel, and then they can just come back as like teenagers or adults, and we can just have them running around as characters. Because I want to see what an adult Grimm Beast is like. Like, what is that? What does that do?
What if they made a spin-off that was set like 15 years in the future, and it was just those two, the brother and sister, or whatever, sister and sister, you know, whatever it is.
That's the new sister and sister show that everyone's been talking about.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Sister. One's a Hexen Beast. One's a Hexen Beast Grimm. Or one's a Hexen Royal.
Yeah.
One's a Hexen Grimm. Together, they're sister.
Right, and they're half sisters, so there's a little conflict in there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It writes itself, pretty much.
This would be great.
Oh, my God. Where has this panel gone? Yell, come back quickly, because we are off the rails.
I feel like we're still on top of it. I will say, just to kind of wrap this up, if we're wrapping that portion up, I did like the kind of symmetry of Adalind essentially letting her powers be subdued, considering all that she did to get them back. So I thought that was a really good character growth moment, in that like we see that there are much more important things going on that she's willing to kind of take a back seat for.
Yeah. But speaking of taking a back seat, well, no, we're gonna get into that whole Jack the Ripper thing in a whole, because that's a whole discussion of its own. Because before we get into that, I want to talk about Juliet and everything that she does in this episode that leads eventually up to the confrontation at the shop. But so when we're first dealing with her in this episode, and Mr. Goku Jr. says it's ironic how Yell is the one keeping everybody under control.
Mr. Goku Jr. also says, fusion! That would have been a poor fusion. We would have been like fat or really skinny.
Anyway. But so Juliet is... She first thing she does, she goes and she breaks into Nick's house and she emails Kelly, "Come or Nick is gonna die. We need you immediately."
Yeah.
"On my way." Come on, Kelly.
Right.
That's
all it took?
Well, that idea is like basically all that needs to be communicated to Kelly, but I feel like that email is very suspicious.
Yeah. Right.
Do you guys disagree?
I thought, oh, come on, don't buy that. And it was like, I'm on my way.
We haven't. All she said is "on my way."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She could have been. That could be you're telling them what they want to hear. Right.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe.
I mean, though, I would say that maybe the email being so suspicious warrants her coming back, because she's like, well, if someone has figured out our way of communication, then we've been compromised and we might need to meet in person.
Okay. That she need if this is what's happening, like something, regardless, something's up.
Right.
That's fair. That makes sense. It was an interesting. They flash back to a moment I almost had forgotten about, where Kelly is basically telling Nick the opposite of what Aunt Marie is saying. She's like, "No, you need to hold on to the people you love. That's what life is about."
Yeah.
So I wonder if she's, because of that emotion, she sort of leans towards trusting Juliet. Like, she wants Juliet to be totally on the up and up.
Yeah.
Well, James Foran just makes a point. He says, "Remember, as far as Kelly knows, Juliet is Nick's most trusted ally."
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, so.
That's true, because she hesitantly trusts, like, Monroe.
Yeah.
And everything. But yeah, she's a little like, he's still a blue bot.
Yeah.
I guess she would very much trust Juliet, but in her travels, she must have seen some insanity. Maybe not as much insanity as what's happening right now in Portland, because that is just next levels of insanity.
Yeah.
So she gets Kelly to respond to that, and then she goes back to Kenneth, and they're plotting now. They're prepping for, I guess, an assault. As soon as Kelly shows up, she's like giving them like, okay, these people are not threats. They're like 70 years old. I don't know who these three renters are. These two are like just two parents with two little kids. Do you think the renters are something important?
I was assuming, because they've mentioned multiple times that Kelly wouldn't go too far. So I was assuming that they believed that that's where Kelly was staying. And so they were going to do an assault on that. Because otherwise, I don't see, unless they were planning on killing everyone in that apartment to set up base.
I was thinking more of if Juliet knows all of these neighbors so well that if they're trying to plant some kind of activity there, and Nick drives by, hey, why is that car missing? Or he might know them as well too, but if there's renters across the street, oh, maybe they moved, new renters.
Right.
I don't know. Did you see what Yell said?
Yeah, the email is beheader.
Right, beheader is her email. And she said, and why is that the secret method? That's true. What if there's any Royal Vesson people working in the NSA? They're reading every one of those emails.
That's a fair point. The NSA could totally compromise all of that. No, you're right. I would sort of expect a deeper, more insane level of secret communication, like dead drops on message boards and stuff like that.
Right.
The best way to tell you if somebody is in trouble is you have a website that you visit every day, like clockwork, and you always like leave a note there, and then one day you don't, and that's the sign that something's up.
Uh-oh.
Interesting.
I've thought about this a lot.
Right? Or someone murders you like right after you post.
Well, but then by the next day, something's up.
It's true. Then it's too late.
Or you just know to stay away at that point, because like oh, there's problems in Portland, but there's always problems in Portland.
But you know what? There's not in Portland. Trouble in Portland.
There's not trouble in Portland, but Rosalie is like, so Nick has got to be going crazy right now. Maybe we should contact Trouble. And every fan everywhere is like, yay! Trouble!
Do it.
I would think they would have contacted her before now.
Yeah.
I know she's like off and like having her own shit, her own stuff, but
She got a lot of stuff to do.
I mean, yeah, and
But, like-
Nick already kind of shooed her away.
But Juliet's lost her mind and has crazy hex and beast powers, and Adalind is pregnant with a Grimm baby.
Yeah. Though I feel
And there's a royal in town.
Yeah, might be time. That like that totally took apart Renard.
Yeah.
right. Though I feel like Trouble, as wonderful as she is, she's a little brash. So she might be more inclined to be like, all right, I guess it's beheading time. And so...
That's what we need right now.
I mean... do
I'm
we,
all for
though?
that,
They're,
yes.
they're trying to save everyone. That's,
Too bad. Sometimes you can't save everyone. Sometimes the only way to save almost everyone
The only way to save everyone is to save them from themselves.
is to get rid of somebody else. Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about this like since
You know what?
mid-season.
I kind of feel Juliet is one of the main things that's keeping Nick to this level of like, I'm not gonna just go kill everyone because I need to be good for her.
Right.
And with her out of the
Interesting.
picture, maybe he'll be a little like, if she dies in this crazy method of Vesson related stuff, messed up his relationship, makes him have to kill her. That's going to leave him a little bit darker, and I think he'll be a little less
That's
nice
true.
when he deals with people.
That's the thing. Now that Juliet's gone bad, I would really love her to stay there.
Just stay bad.
Like, I want her to stay as this crazy Hexen Beast, like, bad, like, a villain.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's different. It takes us out of our comfort zone. Nick and her relationship was sort of, like, at its zenith, if you will. Like, we have our happy couple with Mon Rosalie.
Yeah.
Right.
Messing up what they've got would be cool. It would be dark. It would be a twist. And it would change the show, which is what the goal should be for any writing team on television between two seasons. Every season should be telling the same character's story, but in a different way. There should be something new about it, and shifting Nick's relationship completely would do it. And some people in the chat roll are actually discussing I'm curious what you guys think. If we lose Juliet off of the Scooby Gang and she goes full bad, do we start shipping Nick and Adalind at this point?
Oh my gosh.
No.
Teonis91 suggests some ship names for anyone who might be shipping the two of them. Hexenheart, Grimshade, Adnick, or Grimbeast. Grimbeast is a technical term to call their child, so I don't think that one is appropriate.
What about just like Nadalin?
Burkade.
Burkade?
Yeah.
Or just Nad.
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 I don't know about that one.
Adalic.
Adalic. I like that. Adalic. That's what you know.
Right. Yell wants me to stop making sense. Never. Actually, I probably will constantly not make sense. This show is really hard to stay logical during.
A little bit.
But so Juliet, by the end, like they're plotting that, and we'll come back to discuss like the future of that when we get to predictions towards the end of the episode. And before we jump into everything with Renard and Jack the Ripper and all that craziness, I want to talk to you guys real quick about iTunes. I want to give some shout outs, guys, because like you leaving us iTunes reviews really does make a big difference. It's so helpful. It makes a big difference towards helping us get the lovely guests that we've had on throughout the season, and we really do appreciate it. So just one shout out this week, but we're up to 87 ratings.
Nice.
13 to go to our big goal of 100. I believe that you guys can do it. I task you. I want you to help us become the number one Grimm podcast. I want to get 13 more so we can have more positive ratings than any other Grimm podcast on iTunes.
Yeah.
How many do they have?
100.
So we need 14.
We got to get 101.
Yeah.
You got to get us to 101.
101.
101. J. Renee 424 says OM Grimm smiley
Nice.
face. Trouble is back. That's all the review needed.
That's it.
And that's all it has to be, guys. Just take 30 seconds of your time. Go on there, hit that star button. You can leave us some words if you like. I hope that you do, because if you do, you get a nice little shout out. All right.
Nicolade.
That one makes me laugh.
Sounds like a sports drink made of nickels.
That sounds gross.
All right. So
Jack the Ripper.
This says, was the episode's quote supposed to be from the Gingerbread Man? Mr. Goku.
you mean catch me when you can.
Dun dun dun.
I guess the thing is that quote has been used so many places.
Do you know
like
the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
I'm not sure if it's from a specific Grimm fairy tale.
Right.
It was impossible to narrow it down.
Right.
But it's just, it's a classic fairy tale trope at its core. Just like, try to catch me. Maybe we'll get, because they had like the ... since this episode clearly is like part of a, even because we're going to talk about Jack the Ripper as sort of our Vesson of the Week, sort of, but it's not complete. So maybe we'll get the second half of the quote in the next episode.
Catch me if you can, because I am running. What?
That's it. If you miss an episode, you're like, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm already off to a bad start here.
Yeah.
We got, it's Jack the Ripper,
Yes.
done Grimm style. Is it a 300-year-old Vesson? Is it a like spirit being like we just kind of got a few episodes ago in the
Right.
Native American storyline?
Is it an interdimensional being
Yes.
that reaches through a portal?
all of the new dimensions.
Or is it just Sean Renard?
It's gotta be.
I think so
mean-
too. And even, who is it? Boo69B's, Yale's favorite person. She says that too. Oh, what if Renard is Jack the Ripper, and because he's been blacking out, and he doesn't know where he is, and we see him with Henrietta.
They
and
pretty much said
Yeah.
in this episode, Sean Renard is this new Jack the Ripper. Like, they've all but said it. So
Right.
either they're not making us guess really hard and they want us to know, or it's a red herring.
Right. I mean, yeah, for a second I thought that maybe it could have been Kenneth. Like, in his off time, he's like, you know what, I'm going to kill some things, you know? Because we know that it, like, they hypothesized that it was a Grimm, and I was like, we know it's not a Grimm because the people who vogued in front of him didn't freak out. So it had to be, like, and they could see them, so it couldn't
That's a
be a
good
regular
point.
person.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. That even a Vesson lady of the evening would. Yeah, she would freak out if she saw a Grimm, like, trying to proposition her on the
Right.
street. They would run. And again, like, we keep seeing more and more parts of just, like, where Vesson are
like sleepaway camps.
Yeah, Vesson sleepaway camps, and we have Vesson prostitutes.
Yeah, I mean they're just like us guys.
Boo69Bs points out that Renard is the same height as the killer.
Yeah.
He is tall.
And so we would have Vesson serial killers.
He also has the same shoes. I was looking at this because we get that shot at the end where
Same shoes.
we see the shoes as he's like singing that song, and I was like, I know those shoes. So I like rewound, and it's like those are Renard's shoes. He wears those super cool brownish auburn like penny loafers, whatever you want to call those shoes.
I don't know. It says, Renard is the Ripper. The spirit of the Ripper is in him. And then someone else said, it's the letter from Jack. Signed, yours truly, Jack the Ripper. I don't remember any letter.
No, there was no letter in this
I
episode.
don't know what that was from. Maybe I'm reading this.
Yeah, I know there
Maybe
wasn't.
they're
But
talking about the quote.
Oh, no. This person said the quote is from Hell letter. And that's in quotes.
Okay.
So I don't know what that is.
Like
Okay.
From Hell the movie.
It just looked.
either way.
Anyways,
oh well.
So
Don't show me
From Hell letter.
yeah, if you've got an answer, Dylan, figure it all out before you speak up.
Somebody tweeted at us.
Anyway, so we get this Jack the Ripper storyline with a couple prostitutes get murdered. It's it's almost like a copycat, but is it? Do you guys think do you think it's a spirit? Do you think it's? Renard is dealing with these blackouts and these red, almost bloody hands that really need a manicure,
Right.
reaching through clouds or whatever.
Yeah.
I said that, I said the quote. Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I had another theory while I was watching it. I didn't think about Renard until after, and some people are saying this too, is that Jack the Ripper is Kenneth. Because I thought it was him when I was watching it, because he was real tall and he was everything
it's somebody
nice.
Same height.
It's somebody tall.
And British.
I mean, that's not a great like. Is it even British? I think it's like Welsh.
Well, it's like old timey, like Britishy, Cockney kind of thing.
Cockney, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's somebody putting on a voice. Potentially. I guess it could be the voice of the spirit.
Oh, this person says the quote is from a letter to Scotland Yard.
Ah. Okay.
That would make sense.
That makes sense.
From Jack the Ripper.
But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that essentially it's. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Fallen, but spoiler: there's a demon that possesses people through touch, and it chases Denzel Washington. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing in that there's this demon that can possess different Vesson. And I think that since Renard was on the other side, it opened a portal for this demon to possess him. So that's my theory.
He opened the portal for the demon to possess him.
Right. Like
The Jack the Ripper demon.
yes.
Okay.
So Jack the Ripper, as we know him, has always been this this unkillable demon,
Sure.
and it has been throughout time finding its way into different people or
Hosts.
Vessons, hosts,
Yeah.
killing, and then either that host dies and it goes back to where it belongs, and then awaits another door for him to walk through.
I like that.
Okay.
That's going to be hard to explain.
I mean, with all the Hex and Beast, Albert Beast stuff, they'll just be like, yeah, demon. It's a demon.
Uh-oh. This person says Jack the Ripper is Meisner.
Oh no.
And Yell cries.
And
He
Yell.
said he was returning.
I mean, I don't know that Yell would cry. Yell would be probably real excited. I don't think Yell cares if
she'd
he's
be like-
murdering people.
You're like, he can kill me anytime. Yeah. That's my Yell impression.
How do you like that impression, Yell? Shut up, Jalen. That's not true. No way.
I mean, we get they're clearly setting this up to be somebody from sort of that old timey British thing. Even as the old sing song tune, some say the devil's dead and buried in Whitechapel. That's all. That's all they said. And I am sadly not British, so I don't know the whole limerick. But they're setting this up as clearly somebody from Britain, which is not Captain Renard, but they are. It almost sounds like him. Even it sounds like Sasha Roy's doing an accent.
Right.
So up until this point, we think it's him. Seems logical.
Yeah.
Seems to fit. But we won't know until next week. And I feel like with that, we should move into predictions.
Predictions.
And now,
Yale says that was a perfect meet.
So
that impression is now Yale approved.
Yes.
So From Hell
I am her
letter
avatar.
is the letter that was posted in 1888 by a person who claimed to be a serial killer known as Jack the Ripper.
Oh,
so that's where
nice.
the quote is from.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Sometimes we don't have time to do the fantastic research that you guys can pull off.
That was given to us by Grimm. Vesson.
Oh, sweet.
Grim Vesson. All right. So, what do you guys think? What are we looking for in this preview? We got Diana's coming back. Diana's coming back with like
Kelly.
brought by Kelly.
Yeah.
There are people watching the house, and trouble shows up. There's lots of people at the house.
It's a grim reunion.
I mean,
Literally.
we send our 2 Grimms in there. Then there's 3 Grimms. I feel like they could take them.
Listen to this theory. It's crazy. I love it. It says, my theory, this is from Steve Feinstein. It says, my theory, Juliet makes Nick shoot Monroe, and Rosalie uses Spice Shop magic to bring him back. But he becomes a Blute Bod Hexen Beast combo. A Blute Beast.
Yeah, so that's the big thing that we all, I forgot to go back to for a second, because that's the big end of this episode, is it boils into this crazy scene with Juliet, and she holds a gun up to, she makes Nick hold his gun up to Monroe.
Yeah.
And Rosalie gets out of there, but gunshot black. Who do you think?
I don't. I mean, even if he is shot, I doubt they're gonna kill him.
Yeah, I don't think they'll kill Monroe.
But like it, even though it still kind of shows the turning point to which, what is her name? Juliet is a problem.
Yeah.
So now, what with the convergence of Grimms? I mean, they've got to be like, well, we gotta take her out. And I imagine Nick will be a little hesitant, but he will ultimately think it's the right thing to do.
You know who won't be hesitant? Trouble.
Yeah, I don't think Monroe's dead. I think I even saw him in the preview for next week.
Right.
Like getting out of a car or something. They were careful to like not show his face, but I'm pretty sure I saw his sweater.
Right.
Because he wears like the same sweater like every week.
Or I'd like to, or he dies and like Nick puts his sweater on. I will take vengeance for Monroe.
Picks up his axe. This is for Monroe.
He gets the ogre shotgun.
Right.
I do want to see the ogre gun come into play, because otherwise it's like, it feels like it was like there for no reason.
Right.
But
I mean,
so I think it will be. I think like they established it again for a reason. They gave it a flashback and spent 3 lines of dialogue talking about it.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Right.
Oh, it might have just been Monroe's biggest memory to the trailer. I mean,
It could have been, but I hope it's more.
yeah.
Right. I mean, though, I feel like even though they have the gun, they've lost everything that they need to make the potion, like the ogre killing potion. And also, I feel like they should have siphoned off some of that. Like, it took so little to suppress Adalind's power that they were just like, here, take this whole jug, no contingency plan.
Yeah, that was
so
ridiculous.
I'm hoping maybe they find a little bit at the, like, in the little jar, and they're like, we have a little bit left, and maybe we can use it to at least suppress her for a short amount of time.
It was frustrating. You're right. There were some choices in this episode that frustrated me in terms of just, like, your characters are smarter than this.
Yes, right.
Your characters are smarter than this, and your audience is smarter than this. Treat everyone as though they're intelligent. But ultimately, you're right, and maybe they can go back in and sort of like almost retcon the situation.
We've got some more liver
Except
and
that
gallbladder,
Rosalie
guys.
yelled, "That's all we've got."
Yeah, why didn't they just pour some into another?
Yeah, they could have had a backup supply.
Yeah.
I would have
But-
just approached it very differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes
I
back
think I
to
would have just
the
put it in a
previous
needle
thing.
and stabbed her with it. Right?
Yell says,
Get it done.
Yell's got a prediction. She says, I think Juliet is going to hold the bullet, Magneto style, proving that she's too strong and to leave her alone. And I could buy that. I think my initial thought was that she's going to make him fire the gun like inches from Monroe's head.
Right.
Because I almost think that's even more dramatic. I guess holding a bullet in front of somebody's eyes is pretty scary. But like if the gun goes off and he's like, okay, I'm alive. I'm okay.
That seems very
I'm okay, you
Monroe-ish.
guys.
Yeah.
That would scare the hell out of them. Because to feel it all happen, like feel the bullet leave the chamber, see the bullet hit something, know that like he could have died if she'd moved his gun an inch to the right.
Right.
And then she leaves, and Nick throws the gun down on the ground and says, "Time to get the axe."
Gonna axe my ex.
Hey!
Oh snap! So that Henrietta's dead. Which
Super bummer.
Another person that like Renard is like specifically like near when he's freaking out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
So that could be a hint.
Yeah.
I think
Renard
that
the Ripper?
Renard, yeah, I think, well, or Jack the Renard,
Ah,
if you
nice.
will. Yeah, it's. I'm hoping we can just clean that storyline up. We have two more episodes to go.
Two more.
You guys. Grim Vesson in the chat roll says, do you think it was Nick screaming at the end of the promo trailer? Because that's another big part of the promo trailer was somebody. It did sound like
It
Nick.
sounded a little like him, but I replayed it a couple of times, and like I was actually starting to think maybe it was someone else, but I think it's Nick.
We don't get previews on Hulu.
Well, you can look him up, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Corey
That's what I
Weston
do.
makes a great point. Henrietta is dead. They could remake the potion using Henrietta's parts.
Hey! I hope the writers thought of that.
Convenient dead person.
Convenient dead Hexen Beast.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, it's a really good point. So there's potential. I would love them to fill the ogre gun with some of that watery looking stuff and just have to like shoot Juliet. I know it's messed up, but it fits. It fits well. It pieces these things together over this 2-parter or 3-parter, I guess. It'll blend. It can blend into next week. I'm hoping that this Jack the Ripper storyline sort of blends itself into whatever's going on in the main story.
And it's not the.
And
Here's what's happening next season.
Yeah, because I guess that's my, like, just last thoughts on the episode. My big peeve with this one is, like, Nick's got his hands full.
Right.
Right? He's got lots on his plate protecting his accidental baby mama from his ex who's gone insane with Hexen Beast powers.
Yeah.
And yet he's still taking time to like solve a police case. And I know it's a serial killer thing and then it's like, but they've got murders constantly in this city.
Right.
Don't you think you could give like the case to one other person for like a week?
I mean, but it takes his mind off.
He's out of
everything
vacation
that's
days.
Going on.
He's out of vacation days. Even Hank like is like asking him like, where you been?
Busy, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hank knows what's going on.
Yeah,
I'm
seriously.
surprised he asked that.
Though
Things are lighting up over here. Where you been?
I will say that if they wrap everything up with Juliet, I would like it if Renard is kind of this Jack the Ripper Renard is the new bad for the next season, just because like he's familiar enough,
Interesting.
and like it's not Renard anymore. So I mean, they can effectively harm him.
That would be interesting.
Do you guys think they'll kill Juliet?
No.
No.
Is she too big of a character?
She's too big a character to kill. I think the character of Juliet is too beloved by fans to kill, but the perfect level of bad, and like her character being bad is such a great evolution for the character. It would be a shame to get rid of her at like the peak of the character's arc.
Right.
Renard, I feel less so. Like him going bad doesn't feel like an evolution to me. It's almost like a backstep.
Well, but it's not him though. It's like he's possessed. I mean, to me, it could be, and it could also, I would enjoy if it was like a Bonnie and Clyde. Like he's Jack the Ripper and she's Super Hex and Beast, and they end up teaming up to do bad.
Well, we saw in the preview that she was teaming up with somebody else, another prince.
Whoa.
You didn't see that in the preview?
You mean Kenneth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've been on a team for like 3 weeks now.
Teaming up in bed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, any last thoughts, guys, before we check out here?
No.
But we're gonna.
I do want to see someone die.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Looking
All right.
forward to
Yeah,
seeing it.
I think it's come time for that.
It's 4 seasons in. Kill someone.
What's gonna happen? Is it gonna be Nicolind, Juliet? So many possibilities. Who's gonna die? Who will die? Who will live? Tune in next week on Grimm to find out. Hashtag OM Grimm. That's the most dramatic I can make, the most ridiculous hashtag ever. Until then, guys, make sure you're tweeting at us. Let us know your theories, your thoughts. Hashtag ABTV Grimm for all of your thoughts, theories, and questions. Dillon Chance. Until next week, where can the people keep up with you?
People can keep up with me on Twitter at Dillon Chance.
Tauri Miller.
And you can find me on Twitter at TauriJ, TaurijAY.
You can also follow Yell Teagle, who wasn't here this week, but she will be back next time at Yell Teagle. YAEL.
TIGIEL.
Thank you.
There you
I
go.
was not 100% sure.
Well, she's operating him right now.
Yeah,
so.
Yes.
exactly. Thank you, Yell, for getting their spelling correct.
You're welcome. My boobs are great.
All right, guys. And you can follow me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, ThatZachWilson, and also here at AfterBuzz on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil. Guys, this week we're going to be talking about the craziness of the tie-in between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Age of Ultron. It's going to be nuts. Tuesday night, be here. I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.